Studying the dark art of leaking deal talks. Today's column, Andrew, looks at a study in mergers and acquisitions. And what did it find?
Comes a little close to home because this is what we do for a living. This was a study that looked at the impact of leaks. So every time you see news of a deal before there's an official announcement, what does that mean? Is it happening more? Is it happening less? And why are those leaks coming? At least that's what they're trying to come up with. And what they've decided, or what the study suggests, is that there's less leaks. They actually say there's less leaks today than there were before. Used to be there was about 11% at the peak of all deals were leaked in the press in some way beforehand. Now they say it's down to 7%, but it misses sort of a larger issue, which is big deals, the big headline grabbers that we always write about. They leak more, and in the UK, a much gossipier town or country rather than here. As much as 21% of those deals leak. But it also suggests that there's a reason why all these deals leak, which is that if you are a seller, you get 18% more for your company if the deal gets out in the public before it's supposed to be announced.
So presumably that would indicate that it's the seller or the advisors to the seller that are leaking the deals. It also pointed something interesting out, which is that buyers, perhaps, that want to scuttle a deal will leak it.
Well, yeah, they try to project, if you will, why all of this is happening. Right. So they come up with the numbers. I think that the analysis is a little off. The suggestion is that because you can get a higher premium, the seller wants to get that news out there, and therefore it's always somebody on the sell side. As a reporter, I can tell you that's not the case. The flip side is they say that buyers who want to get out of a deal often put it out into the public as sort of an excuse to say, well, you know what, now the price has gone up too much. From my experience, all of this is a little too convenient.
Right.
It's not nearly, I wish it was that organized.
Right. This is academic study, but in the real world, you've been plying your trade in this business for a long time. What have you found?
There's a rhyme or reason for everyone. I had a situation once with a CEO who had a board who didn't want to do a deal that he was desperate to do. He was convinced if the market knew that they were even contemplating this, the markets would cheer and he would be able to win over his board. I had the opposite. I had a board member once tell me that he was the only board member on the board who thought the deal was awful. It was going to ruin the company. And everybody else wanted to do it. And he thought if the market just knew, they would hate, there would be an outcry, and he would convince them otherwise. There was once a banker who lost the business to another firm who then wanted to make the other firm look like they were leaking the deal.
Yeah.
So everybody has, their own motive in why. I wish they were talking to me simply because they thought I was a nice guy, but it's not the case.
Right. And then you point out something as a practical reason. The bigger the deal, the more advisors there are in the deal, right, the more people are involved, and the more likelihood that there's going to be one person that's going to leak it.
There's always this idea that somehow, and even CEOs today think that, oh goodness, there's only 3 or 4 or 5 people who know about a deal at one time. That's so not true, because the second you call up an investment bank, a law firm, a consulting firm, an accounting firm, a PR firm, you're not just talking to that one person. That person turns around and then calls their conflicts committee to see if they can take on the assignment. Well, how many people are on the conflicts committee? In some places, it's half a dozen people. They then have to conflict check with somebody else. So all of a sudden, before you even start the game, 100 people know about what's going on.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Thank you.